Hey everyone, this is PrinceWatercress, and welcome back to Let's Play Dinosaurs for Hire for the Sega Genesis. We are approaching the end of the game, and this game is going to throw a lot of stuff at us to keep us from beating it. Last time we made our way through Japan, after making our way through the toy factory, and now we're at the base, whatever this is. And this is very synthwave looking, very neon. So we have a lot of turrets moving around the walls. We have robots that will continuously shoot at us. We have these beams that we need to get away from as quickly as possible. Just run under them as quickly as possible as soon as they turn off. And you now also have this platform. And as soon as you get on it, this pterodactyl is going to pop out of the window and throw bombs. And the explosions do have a little bit of a range, so you do want to be careful. And what do you know, I already took the pterodactyl down. Just like that. As long as you have some fancy footwork, you can take care of that pterodactyl easy. And of course, there are some projectiles, power-ups that you can get. And I missed out on the health, but that's my loss, unfortunately. And in case these robot enemies get a little too close, you can hit them with the A button. Now, when you get all the way to the left here, you want to avoid the projectiles and the acid-looking shots, those green shots that are shot out of the tail. And apparently, this boss did not give me that much trouble. Now it's time to get on these platforms and be ready to shoot down these turrets that pop up from all four corners of this area. I especially want to make sure that I aim down and to the left whenever possible, so that way I don't get knocked off by a turret. You do not want to get knocked off at any point, because that can be bad for you. Like, you can kind of see my points total just increasing just like that, because I'm making a good habit of shooting at that lower left corner just to ensure that I don't get hit a whole lot. That's where a lot of these turrets are going to come in from. And now we need to get over here. We now have these left and right claws that alternate between left and right when it comes to grabbing us. And now we have these things, or this whole thing. You want to avoid being shot at, and you want to shoot at the eyes when they're open. And I want to stay away from this thing when it shoots the electricity, and then as it swings back and forth, I want to keep shooting at this. I'll eventually expose the weak point. Just keep shooting left and right. One side will go down, and eventually so will the other. Hopefully I won't have that hard a time, and I don't want to land like that. And I don't want to be underneath this thing either. Never want to be underneath this thing. Especially once you shoot it. When you shoot, it shoots, as I'm starting to notice. And the shots scatter a little bit, like that, whenever you shoot at it. And you can get to my gun. And finally, we have some food. There's some food here for a second player in case you need it. I'll show that off. And no, you don't. And I need you to stop shooting at me. Alright, let's jump over here and jump on this platform. You want to avoid being shot at by these turrets as you go over here and to the left. And you do not want to get hit by these little crane arms. I'm going to focus on one of them just to make it easier to get around. And your best bet to kind of avoid being shot, one, is to get all the way to the side there and just be ready to jump. And two, you want to make sure that you're ready to aim at that thing once it's moving away from you. You don't want to be directly underneath that thing because it will hurt. Well done! Game over. Thanks for playing. Not. This final boss is a mystery. No one has ever made it this far before. Rumor has it that you need to shoot the clone creators on the vat rim. Then things will really start to spin. What happens next is anyone's guess. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Oh yeah, the whole thing about the smart bomb. Can't use them here either. Not like we really had any reason to use them during the boss battles anyway. So, now that we're here, it's time to really try the best that we can. Because as soon as we start this boss battle, there is no health to get. And whenever you see green fireballs show up, they're going to create clones of the main characters, and it's going to be a pain in the butt to deal with. And you want to move back and forth to ensure that you take out the clone creators. And I really don't like the pterodactyl clones because they split into two when you shoot them down. At least when you move away enough, you don't really have to deal with the clones. So that helps. And whenever you destroy a clone creator, those little, I guess you could say, columns of lava will show up. And you have to jump over them. Anyway, there are 4 of those clone creators, and once you shoot them down, you have the second of 3 parts in this battle to deal with. You want to make sure that you aim at these hands. The faster you do this, and the more firepower you spend on the arms, the better. And what do you know? I took that down. Now it's time for part 3. So we got the big shot, the big laser, and you got the 2 fireballs that come out afterwards. You want to keep aiming at that core whenever it's open, and soon you'll take it down just like that. I made that look a lot easier than it actually was, and we just beat Dinosaurs for hire. Why did we destroy that thing? I don't know, but we have an ending, and we're going to look at it now. And it's just us playing baseball with a bunch of humans. Okay. Well, I guess that's a fun way to end this game. So how did this game stack up? It's a pretty interesting game. I do like this. I mean, it's not like much of the Contra or Gunstar Hero style games. I mean, there's not much differentiating this from before, from those kinds of games, except there's a rather obscure license behind this. And I'm amazed that it got this license and Dinosaurs for Hire is remembered for something. And it's also probably one of the most 90s games I've ever played. That was the credits? Really? Huh. Well, can't really complain much. I mean, this was more about shooting stuff more than anything else. I can appreciate that this game was made. Now I can actually go ahead and go on with that mini review. Graphics, they look pretty darn good. I am going to have to admit, I mean, they're not too bright, they're not too dark, they're just right. And you can definitely tell where your shots are on the screen too. Sound and music, you've got the usual shooting sounds, but the music that's here, not too bad. I know that this game has a pretty rockin' soundtrack, and it can be a little cool in parts. Play control, I didn't have that much of a problem with it. There are some things that drove me up the wall, like losing health when you're using the ramps, and not having much of a use for smart bombs, if you know what you're doing in this game. But other than that, when you know what to do with this game, when you know what you're doing, you'll have a pretty easy time doing it. And once you know how to beat the bosses in this game, it's pretty easy to get through this. It's easier, I should say. I have to admit I'm having a terrible time speaking because not exactly warmed up. This is the first video of the evening that I've made, and I didn't expect to get through the last bit of the game that fast. Replay value, well, you have 3 difficulty settings, and you can also set how many continues you have, 0, 3, 6, or 9. And you have 3 different characters to play through as well, though I'm pretty sure they all play the same. So you have at least a little bit of replay value. But once you know what the game has to throw at you, it does get easier and easier each time. And do I recommend getting this game? Yeah, sure. I pretty much like what there is on offer. Not exactly setting the world on fire, but hey, if you need a Contra-style game for the Genesis that isn't Gunstar Heroes or a Contra game itself, and you also want 2-player simultaneous action, which some of those games do have, especially Gunstar Heroes, Dinosaurs for Hire isn't a bad option. I'm surprised that this game exists. It wouldn't surprise me if this game was more popular than the comics. But either way, this is a rather interesting Genesis game. And honestly, I'm glad I played this one. So, this has been Let's Play Dinosaurs for Hire for Sega Genesis. Hopefully I will be back with another game. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. Maybe it'll be somewhere in between. Who knows? Until then, this is PrinceWatercress. Take care. Stay safe. Thanks for watching, and see you guys later.